Hello and welcome to 3 Ways to Verify a Quality Translation. I'm Professor Winn, a certified English, Portuguese, and Spanish to English translator here in Orlando, Florida. And today we're going to look at 3 ways to verify a quality translation. After an introduction, we're going to look at these 3 qualities: accuracy and omissions, word choice and vocabulary, and a mirror copy. As I stated earlier, my name is Winfield Trevette. I am a certified English instructor and Spanish and Portuguese to English translator for over 5 years now. And currently I'm doing translations through Atranslationace.com. I drew these 3 qualities from my 9-point diagnostics that I do in all of my translations for Atranslationace.com. Those are accuracy and omissions, which we will discuss later, ambiguity, grammar, spelling, word choice and vocabulary, which we'll also look at, tone and style, cohesion and naturalness, is it a mirror copy, which we'll discuss later, and also the formatting. Each translation that I do for Atranslationace.com must pass this 9-point diagnostic before it's submitted to the client for approval. The first quality we're going to look at in producing great translations for the client is accuracy and omissions. It's important as a translator, basically the first job, to keep the same meaning in the original document and the translated document, so there are no gaps in the message that is in the first document and in your second document. Therefore, accuracy and omissions is one of the qualities to verify a quality translation. Number 2, word choice and vocabulary. Checking the level of vocabulary or knowing the level of vocabulary before you begin the translation is very important. It depends on who you're writing for, because, of course, translators are essentially writers. Is the document going to be aimed at internal customers, they're inside the company, or external customers? Therefore, for example, you might use give, depending on the audience. The writer is always, of course, wanting to know about the audience. Is the audience the frontline staff, where you might use give, for example, to give information or to give details? Or is the document for maybe outside clients or middle management inside the company? And for that, you may want to use the word provide. Of course, give and provide basically have the same meaning, but the register or the level of language is what translators use to be able to produce a quality translation, to produce a document that is going to be the most relevant, culturally relevant, and appropriately relevant to the client. So if you have Spanish or Portuguese documents that you need to have translated to English, I would certainly hope you would consider Atranslationace.com and me, Professor Winn. To get a free quote, just send your documents and any kind of details, supporting details, special requirements to win@Atranslationace.com. And I will reply to you with a free quote for your translation project. That's Spanish and Portuguese to English. And finally, the third quality to verify a translation. Does the translated document look like the original document? Each translation should be, quote, a mirror copy of the original. If one headline is bolded, then that headline in the second copy needs to be bolded. if there are headers and subheaders, and some of those maybe are italics, some of those are bold and italics, then whatever matches the original document should also match in the translated document. So that when you do a side-by-side comparison between the two projects, of course, could be multiple documents, then they should appear to be a reflection of each other. Now, one document may be longer or shorter in length than another document, because English, depending on the language that it's coming from, for example, Spanish or Portuguese, there is usually 30 to 40% inflation in the number of words that are used in those languages versus what is written in English. Therefore, the English language document may be shorter than the Spanish or the Portuguese document. However, it will look like a mirror reflection of the first document, so that the formatting is standard. So today we did an introduction of myself. I certified translator from Spanish and Portuguese to English. We looked at 3 ways to verify a quality translation. That is, a translator will go through these 3 steps to make sure that the document is of a quality translation. That is, the document is accurately reflects the meaning from the first document to the translated or the second document, and that there are no omissions or gaps, that again, the significance of the meaning of the words in the first document are also in the second document, and that there is no dropping of words or phrases or meaning between the 2 documents, that it communicates the same consistent message in both documents. Word choice and vocabulary, that is, as we discussed, was talking about the level of language depending on the audience. And finally, the mirror copy, that the formatting between the 2 documents will match. Well, I certainly do appreciate you joining me today for 3 ways to verify a quality translation. If you have Spanish or Portuguese documents, or both, that you need to have translated into English, please consider Atranslationace.com and me, Professor Winn. To get a free quote, send your document with any supporting details or background details or specific requirements to win@a